In Perek Chaf Bet, we saw how Sha'ul uses his shevet and the positions they've received to try to get answers about David's whereabouts. David perhaps thinks maybe his own shevet will protect him. He also fulfills his responsibility as leader and warrior to help his brothers, but even they give him over. I want to be Malamed Schutz for a moment. Shaul gets a bad rap. He certainly made mistakes, but a couple of things become clear here. If Shaul's job is to unite the nation, then we see a number of things. He could have seen David as a danger to this goal. Yes, he should have listened to the Navi. But there's also something to such an attempted justification on Shaul's part, both because perhaps David himself thought Yehuda would help him where Binyamin wouldn't, and secondly, because we see that that is in fact exactly what happens when Shaul is killed. The nation splits. This could have undone everything Shaul had worked to accomplish. It didn't because David understood the value in it, and instead of simply undoing all of his predecessors' accomplishments just because, he actually builds on his success. But more on that later. Additionally, look how even the people of Yehuda gave David over, meaning it could be a sign that at least for the time being, they really are united under Shaul. Why did they give over David? Keep in mind, Shaul brought everyone to battle for the people of Yehuda. On the other hand, it could also simply be that they saw Nov as Shaul setting an example of what would happen to those who try to protect David. There could also be another element, especially with regards to Naval. Usually, a large flock would have 30 to 40 animals in it. Here, we're talking about huge amounts, 3,000 sheep, 1,000 goats. The guy's a billionaire. Where did it all come from? I've heard some suggest that perhaps they're from Amalek. Shaul spared the sheep and then made his way to Carmel before continuing on to Gilgal. He brought to Gilgal the animals he intended to bring as a korban. Here we see that Naval's flock are in the area of Carmel. Maybe he was given these flocks by Shaul as the remainder of those taken from Amalek. Shaul isn't going to start bringing it all back with him to Giv'ah, and he wants a good connection with someone powerful in Yehuda as an accomplice to help keep the coalition close. So perhaps Shaul leaves it on the edge of the desert, in the grazing land of Yehuda, with Nabal. This could also be why Nabal is so nasty to David, but it seems that there could be more to it. Naval notes in his response to David's request that servants are rising up against their masters. Naval is Kalevi, meaning from Caleb. Caleb was like a leader in Yehuda, and perhaps the people of Yehuda even thought that he would be the one chosen to lead the entire nation after Moshe, except it was given to Yoshua instead. But while Yoshua conquers land, Caleb kind of breaks off and goes to conquer the area of Hebron in Yehuda. From this, Yehuda may have begun to see him as a leader, for their shevet at least. David's family is in the area of Beit Lechem, but Caleb's family is in the southern Hebron hills, including the area of Carmel, Maon, and Ziph. As such, this would be a good place for Shaul to have a connection who can disclose David's whereabouts in this region. In addition, in the next parak, we do see that the people of Ziph give him over. But there could be another ulterior motive here, not only a result of the bribery with Amalek's remaining flocks. While Yehuda might not be posed to take over the kingship over the entire nation as long as Shaul is in power, at some point, they will make their move. Shmuel has already made it clear that Shaul's monarchy is on the way out, and it seems to be becoming clear that word of David being next has begun to spread. Abigail, Naval's wife, certainly already knows. Naval was wealthy and from an important family. He may have planned to try to take the kingship for himself. Shaul may even have considered that strengthening Naval a bit could be helpful in keeping Yehuda from following David straight out. For the time being, it worked. At the same time, Shaul breaks off the connection between his family and David by giving away Michal. Marrying into the royal family can be used as a step towards trying to take over control, as we see in other instances in history, such as later on by Herod, who marries Miriam of the Hashmonean dynasty in order to gain some sense of legitimacy as he tries and succeeds in breaking away control from them. Of course, this marriage hadn't been David's idea to begin with, but Shaul wants to break it off while he can. So did Naval mean that David was a servant to Sha'ul and was rebelling? And in essence, he was hinting at a threat that he better run for his life, as Naval would now share information of David's whereabouts with Sha'ul. Or was he hinting that he himself was from a more respected yichus or family line, had wider support, and clearly at the moment appeared more successful than David, and as such, visibly more fit to be the next king in place of David? Either way, with Naval out of the picture by the end of the parak, and the connection with the rest of Am Yisrael lost for now, David can at least build up his support base in Yehuda by marrying Abigail and then Achinom as well. In this case, Yisrael, where Achinom comes from, is not referring to the town or great valley of the north of Israel, but a town in Yehuda. Naval controlled primarily the eastern ridge of the southern Hebron Hills, but Yisrael was a town in the western ridge of the southern Hebron Hills. As such, while it won't help David yet in the immediate future, where the people of Yehuda continue to give him over to Sha'ul, when he does come to power after Sha'ul, his first capital will be over Yehuda and centrally placed in Hebron, which unites the different subregions mentioned above.